you live on 10th Avenue in Seattle, it's quite a possibility as it is cold. And, well, let's see. Let's look out the window here. Cold and kind of, it's not raining. It's, it's the schmutz. Weather here, if I were the weatherman, every day would be schmutz unless it was sunny. It's schmutzing out. It's that fine, it's raining, but it's not raining kind of stuff, but that's what it is. That's, that's what we deal with to live here. That and the months of December and January, which are somewhat horrific because of the schmutz and the dark. But hey, what are you going to do? We're here, right? And we're back. How you doing? I know I was gone a couple of weeks. I was under the weather and things were happening, but we're back. We'll be back with you. No more sad Saturday mornings without your pal, New York Vinnie, your car talking pal. I mean, come on. Oh, man, it's been quite an eventful couple of weeks, as you might imagine, in the car world as well as also in life, which tends to happen. Cars keep going, but life just, your car can get stalled, but your life keeps going. And so while we were gone, a couple of interesting and important things happened. The price of gas dropped by a dime, I think. I mean, there's some places now where it's under, $4.99 a gallon. I don't know. It's the problem is when the gas thing happens like this, or anything happens, and you go on Facebook and you look, you get all sorts of bizarre theories. So I try to go to the different business channels, and that's where I look for my reasons to see what's going on. And I look at the profits that the oil companies are making, and I look at, the conditions, the world, what's going on, all of that stuff. Because if you look at Facebook or you look at social media, you're going to get every whack job conspiracy theory in the world. I mean, America, I've grown up with an America that loves conspiracy theories. And I mean, since Kennedy, think of it. The day, before Kennedy was dead in the hospital, there were conspiracy theories already being espoused by people. The Cubans, the mafia, this guy, that guy. So we are a nation that has grown up with conspiracy theories. And we've luckily passed it on to our children. So getting back to the price of gas, which is what you asked about in the first place. Yeah, the price of gas is dropping a little bit, not enough to make a difference. But I'll tell you what's not dropping is the profits for the oil companies. They're not dropping at all. So, you want to blame this person, that person, president, this guy, that guy, the other guy, this woman, that woman. You know what? For me, it lies absolutely in the pockets of the oil companies. That's what's driving this thing. You would think in a time of national crisis, which I think we're still in, to be honest with you. I don't think the pandemic is as over as you want to believe it is. I still wear my mask going into a store because I'm highly susceptible to COVID, and I don't want to get it. And I've managed to stay away from it for the last couple of years. So I'm thinking, I'll go with the mask a little bit longer, and I'm vaxxed, so I'll take a shot. Lipton tea, so refreshing. And it's not an ad, by the way. That's just an observation. But the good thing is if you are a Corvette fan, and this happened while we were away, and you know that I am, just, having owned several Corvettes, and I'm just a big time Corvette fan. And you won't have to worry about gas. if all of this stuff that they're talking about actually happens, which I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't. But, excuse me, it looks like General Motors will produce a fully electric Corvette. Excuse me. Mark Royce, the head of General Motors, the GM president, said so did it in a LinkedIn post. How do you like that? And put up a little video that talks about a hybrid coming next year and a fully electric Corvette in the not too distant future. I would think you probably see that around 2026, somewhere around there, 2027. I hope I'm around to see it. But the possibilities for this are phenomenal. The design possibilities, the things that they can do. I believe when this car was engineered, and I wanted to ask Tad Jukta when I interviewed him, who's the chief engineer on the Corvette designer, if in fact this vehicle was built for a hybrid. If you could put, and I understand through reading and reading up on it, that it is built to be fitted with a hybrid system. So, and what that will do is make it faster. It'll make it a lot quicker. That's for sure, because as we all know, electric motors get to where they're going quicker than gasoline engines. It's just a fact. Now, the balance of sustainability and all of that kind of stuff, that's questions to be answered. I know that there's a lot of people in the Corvette community who don't like this, are upset about this. There's not going to be a Corvette if it doesn't go rum, rum, rum. Well, go out and buy a CD and stick it in your CD player with a rum, rum, rum in it. So that's the big news from Corvette, from Chevrolet, that we got a chance to give you over the last couple of weeks when we were gone. And it is, it'll be interesting to see how that all turns out. I know I've driven the electric BMW sports car, and that sports car was off the charts. It was an incredible driving experience. Its speed, its responsiveness, its engineering. You were driving the future. And, I don't know if the Corvette, well, I'm sure the Corvette will beat it. Will be better than it. I mean, who knows? We've got to see when it comes out. But the gas Corvette is, I think, the world's best buy on a performance car. I mean, you can get yourself into a Corvette for, $75,000 and be the coolest guy at the country club. And your golf clubs will fit in the front. Or the coolest lady I don't know where the ladies go. They go golfing too. So you can put your golf clubs in the front. Problem is, I don't know if both of you can put your golf clubs in there. Yeah, probably. I don't have my golf clubs here. I have to go back to beautiful New York and Pennsylvania, pick up my golf clubs at some point. All right, so coming up in the show today, we are going to have John Vincent join us, who is the president of the NWAPA. While we were gone, you might have saw the live broadcast I did heard the live broadcast I did from Mudfest down at Ridge Motorsports Park in Shelton, where we gathered a bunch of Northwest type vehicles, what we call Northwest type vehicles, and put them through their paces. And we'll talk to John about that. He was there. He put the whole thing together, really, most of it. And talk a little bit about what cars won the competition and maybe one that didn't, that you saw me sporting around. We get a chance now to take a minute to talk to our good friend, our producer, and a guy who on Saturday morning for the last couple of weeks just stood in the studio and howled because I wasn't there. Nathan, our producer. Nathan, the producer. Good morning. How are you, pal?
Good morning, Vinny. I'm doing great. Good to see you again. Great to have you back at KKNW.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know, it's good to be back and good to be happening. Good to be alive, as Roy Campanella once wrote.
Yeah, that's the most important part, and I'm very glad you're doing okay.
Yes.
I know it was scary.
It was very scary. What are you? How are you doing? Did you get along okay without me? What they put into place? The Financial Times or something like that?
Well, I mean, good news is that with my car that it's been having no issues, and by that I mean it's just been sitting still in the garage and doing nothing because I'm still waiting for it to get fixed. So nothing to chat about you as far as that goes. So we didn't really miss much as far as that story goes.
Yeah,
it's still.
Well, let's see. How are the tires?
They're doing fine. They're handling the rain really well, doing as they expected to perform, being all seasons.
Yes, they're. That's good. Your tires have to perform. Yeah, you were telling me late June before you're going to get your car even into the shop, and you're going to hope that the parts are around. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, just to get a car fixed these days, it's a 2-month wait.
Yeah, that's the story these days. You know, people, they don't necessarily want to go out and get a new car per se. So what they want to do is just keep their car, and if something happens to it, try to fix it up as much as they can. So they take it to these body shops and get their dings and scratches or dents taken care of and keep driving that car until the new car market becomes a little bit more readily available. And so they're backlogged with those people trying to like just keep their cars up and running. And also, too, while there's still this new car shortage, there's also a parts shortage. So they got to wait until Mazda can get them the parts. And they don't even know if they can possibly get the car's parts by June 22nd. They said they'll give me a call the week before to confirm if the parts have come in or not and if they can actually make that appointment time.
Well, that's good. At least they're not putting your car in and then holding it there until the parts come or something like that.
Right.
That would be kind of nuts. But well, I'm glad that you're finally getting it resolved and the insurance company and everything and all that resolved and paid the bill at least, hopefully, and everything got groovy with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there a question you might want to ask me this fine Saturday morning?
We gotta maybe change up that question and say maybe, yo, Vinny, what have you been driving all this time? Here's the original one. We just want to know what's going on this week, so here we go.
Yeah, all right.
Yo, Vinny, what are you driving this week?
Oh, man, what am I driving this week? You know what? I am having a sentimental ride down memory lane this week as I am driving the 2022 Toyota 4Runner. This is one of my favorite vehicles. I'll tell you how life works. Strangely, Wednesday night, my daughter came back from a trip to Europe on a little vacation, and I went to the airport and I picked her up. And it was the first day I got the 4Runner. And when she was a little girl, and she and her mom lived down in San Francisco, and I was up here, when I used to pick her up at the airport, I used to pick her up in the 4Runner because she liked that car. And it was awesome. We did a lot of our fun adventures up to the tops of mountains and up to the, here and there and everywhere in the 4Runner. And so it was very sentimental to go to the airport and pick her up in the car. And I'll tell you what, the 4Runner, from what I've seen so far, and I'll post pictures of it later on Facebook. From what I've seen so far, the 4Runner has not changed that much. It still does what it's meant to do. And that is take you off-road, not in a modicum of luxury, but in a modicum of efficiency and being built to do what it does best. Go over a hill, go over dale, go over logs, go to ford streams. I mean, it's high. It got big tires. It's, it does the job. Now, it has modern updates, obviously. Lane change, blind spot monitors and all the safety equipment. But I've so enjoyed my time driving this car so far, and I think I will enjoy it for the rest of the week, and then we'll do a review on it. Coming up later in the show, we will delve into the Honda Civic hatchback. What a car. More of that coming up. John Vincent joins us next here on Drivetime Radio.
It's new.
It's new.
It's new. The new 62 Lark by Studebaker.
With big car comfort at compact prices. New, highest, widest doors of all. New, big, sofa-soft, deep padded seats. New, thick, rich pile rugs and flat flush floors with no trip over sill. New, locked limousine, stretch-out room. Big car comfort at a compact price. New, giant Lark trunks. Almost 17
My
cubic feet
webcam
cargo
color has
space.
gone off the rails this
New,
morning, though.
big 15-inch wheels give you new riding comfort and surprise. New, fresh styling in the big, wide, wonderful line of Larks from Studebaker.
Oh, good
Two
Lord.
new Lark Daytonas, America's newest action car,
How you doing?
in hardtop
Can't
and
do anything
convertible
about the
style.
speed. What do you got?
Bucket
The
seats,
Escalade? Oh, no, it's
very
the
sporty. A companion
Yukon that was in
control
the event.
compartment, very spiffy. Available too, 4-speed transmission for exhilarating performance.
I can't hear
Now
you.
enter the most luxurious car you'll find in the compact price range, the Lark Cruiser. More room and luxury than you'll find in most cars. Here's the new 62 Lark hardtop with sliding sunroof. Available on all Lark sedans and hardtops. Simply beautiful. Just peek inside. Look at these big, loungy limousine seats and thick pile rugs. Here's the new Lark convertible, all dialed up with new 62 styling. There's big wagon room in the new 62 Lark wagon, too. Look at that enormous cargo space. Please be sure to see and test drive all the exciting new 62 Larks at your Studebaker dealer with big car comfort at compact prices. And remember, they're endurance built by Studebaker.
Real people, real life, real radio. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Drivetime Radio here on 1150 KKNW and also on the worldwide Golden V Media Network. If you are anywhere in the world, you can hit us up and listen to us wherever you are. We get like emails and stuff from people like all over the world that listen to this. Well, okay, I got a guy in England and one guy in Poland. It's not all over the world, but it's kind of all over the world. Welcome in now the president of the NWAPA, the Northwest, Northwest Northwest Association of Media People. Oh my God, it's one of those mornings. Anyway, he's president of Nwapa. He's a good friend of mine and a good person, one of the premier car reviewers and columnists in the Northwest. John Vincent joins us. John, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Vinny. How are you?
I'm good. Northwest Automotive Press Association is what
There
I'm
you
trying
go.
to say. Can I tell you, man, I took a little cold medicine before the show, and it's obviously taking its effect. How you been, man? You cool?
Been good.
Good, good to see. Now, what is that in the background that we
That
see?
is a 2022 GMC Yukon AT4.
Wow, that's a huge vehicle, man. That is, I remember
It's
driving.
a big truck.
It's a lot of truck, man. I mean, if you got a big family We used to call that one, that looks like it would be like equivalent to the Chevy Impala station wagon of the 60s, like the
It
big
is, but
Brookwood.
with a much higher price tag.
Yes, yeah, the Brookwood or the Kingswood with the 9 seats and the 1 seats to face backwards and everything. And we used to call them Catholic school cars because the Catholic kids, you got a big family, you got to buy a car like that. Oh man. And where is that behind you? That's a beautiful scene.
That's out in the Columbia River Gorge.
Ah, gorgeous. no pun intended. Well, we traipsed around in the mud for a couple of days, didn't we?
We did, and we actually had mud this year, which was a welcome addition.
I know, why complain about the rain when and I was saying something about it earlier in the show, but the reality is for the first time in a few years, there was mud and there was, you could actually dip down into water. It was a great course that was set up there down at the Ridge Motorsports Park for off-roading. And without, we don't look to wreck the vehicles. We look to test their capabilities.
Exactly. We want to drive them like the maximum that most buyers would ever do in the Northwest.
Right. And 95% of people are never going to take an SUV or a car like a all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive and take it far off-road. Maybe we're going to see a mountain road, a fire road, something like that. But for the 20% that might, we want you to be confident in what you buy or what you go look at. And
here's the scenario you need to look at. You head out to the trailhead on a Friday night and it's perfectly dry and it pours all weekend. And on Sunday, when you're driving back out of that trailhead, that Forest Service road is muddy and slippery and you need to get home. And these vehicles will do that for you.
And, one of the things that I find, and I have a place that I go up by Mount Pilchuck where I take these vehicles and kind of go up a forest road and take them a little bit off road. The Forest Service, the federal government, does not maintain these roads. They don't have usually, I've seen once in a while, but for the most part, when a ditch or a hole or something goes into a road, if it's not a safety issue, they kind of leave it alone. They kind of say, okay, if you're up here, you probably got a four-wheel drive, you can go through it. So you see a lot of different roads that have deep pits in them. And it's a great test for these cars and trucks because that's the Northwest lifestyle. That's what we put up with here. That's what we deal with. That's what we love about it. And that's why we do.
Why we live here.
Yeah, that's why we live here. And that's why every year now for 26 years.
27.
Wow. Holy moly. Yeah, we are getting old. So anyway, the 2022 Northwest Outdoor Activity Vehicle of the Year winners. Let's run through them. The subcompact and compact family. This one you can usually just hand to Subaru. They send a car and we just put the award in the back seat. We send it back to Dominic and the people at Subaru. But this year, a surprise, huh?
A brand new car from Mazda, the Mazda CX-50, 2023 model.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. I didn't realize I was going to like it as much as I did. And then all of a sudden I got in it and drove it around. And when the guy from Mazda, wasn't selling me on it, it actually felt like a really solid, sturdy, luxurious. Mazda has really done an incredible job with upgrading their interiors.
Yeah, the CX-50 takes off kind of where the CX-5 leaves off. CX-5 is still in the lineup for now, but CX-5 is a great car, but it doesn't have very much off-road capability. And the new CX-50 adds a touch of off-road capability, which makes it a much more versatile vehicle for drivers in the Northwest.
That's what we're seeing these days, aren't we? We're seeing manufacturers really reconstructing these vehicles with more clearance. We see it in the case of Subaru with the Wilderness series. giving them more off-road, more ability to get away, get out of the mainstream, get off the highway, go fishing, go do something.
Or at least the appearance that they can do that.
Right. They want to make you feel confident. I don't know yet what the reality of all of that is, but at least it felt like with the 50 that it handled the courses, the roughs and the good, pretty well. I mean, I would feel confident. I don't know if I go ford the stream with it, to be honest with you, but
yeah,
if I had to, go over a rough patch somewhere, yeah, I think it'd get me to the other side.
We understand, and the automakers understand, that the only time that most of these vehicles will do what we did with them is if they're lost.
Yeah, very true. The nav system does not work in some parts of the forest. Keep that in mind. All right. The mid and the full-size family, an interesting choice here. Kia Sorento, the new plug-in hybrid, which I've driven, is a spectacular vehicle. I think it's a great vehicle, but it got beat out this year by an old stalwart, an old favorite that's kind of redesigned and brought up to the 2022s, the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, which means it's extra electric.
So after a very long career, the last generation of the Grand Cherokee finally was retired this last year. And there's an all-new Grand Cherokee out. One of the models of the new Grand Cherokee is the 4xe, which is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle that can run on electricity alone for a certain period of time. And then it seamlessly switches over to traditional hybrid operation. It's a great blend of the best of electric cars and gasoline vehicles.
Yeah, I think more and more people are looking at these things and that ability. So if you're cruising around the neighborhood going on short runs, you use the electric. You have the gas to back you up, and it takes away your anxiety. If you live in the city, you're probably going to go with an electric car. But if you are one of those people that, you take your weekend trips up to the cabin, this thing was nice. It was comfortable. It was, Jeep does a great job in design and in, putting nice appointments there. Infotainment system may be the best on the market.
Uconnect is fantastic.
Yeah, it works, and it's intuitive, and you're not sitting there for hours trying to figure out, how to find your destination. A newcomer, the Genesis, had a field day with us, didn't it?
Well, kind of a newcomer. It was actually our overall winner last year, the GV70, their smallest SUV.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that it won last year, the 70, and they're really knocking up the luxury SUV market with a product that feels like, I can't help but get in the Genesis and think of the Kia K900. Remember that luxury car that Kia put out? It was a $90,000 car that you could buy for $66,000.
Yep.
It was one of the I took a road trip in that car from Miami to Pittsburgh, and it was one of the best road cars I had ever driven. And so Kia and Hyundai have taken that experience and put it into the Genesis. I mean, I haven't driven a Lemon yet, or not even a Lemon, forget it, a bad, an uncomfortable car.
Yep, that K900 was a fantastic car, but luxury car buyers wouldn't go buy one at a Kia dealer. With Genesis, which is a spin-off brand of Hyundai, they're getting some standalone Genesis stores, and the Genesis team is doing everything they can to insulate you from the fact that you might have to go to a Hyundai dealer to buy one.
Yeah, it is. But the car stands up, you see. So, and I think part of what happened with the K900 and again, a great car, but who wants to pull up to the golf club in a Kia?
Right.
If you pull up to
they do now if they have a Telluride.
Yeah. Now, their image has changed so much, but still at that time, Nobody wanted to pull up. I mean, the best use of those cars was for Uber. And now Tiger Woods, I mean, Genesis hasn't made the claim, but you could make the claim that the Genesis safety system saved Tiger Woods' life. And for golfers, that's a huge attraction.
Yeah. Yeah, the Genesis SUVs are fantastic, and they have a new one coming online in the next few months, a pure electric SUV, which looks fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. All right, pickup trucks.
We missed one. We missed the second Genesis.
Oh, yes, the GV80. Yes, the full size luxury.
Full size.
Had a run. Yeah.
GV80, another excellent Genesis vehicle.
Yes. Again, if you're in the market for that luxury SUV, you would do yourself well to go to a Genesis showroom and take a look at these cars. They handle well. They respond well. I mean, they're quick. They're agile. It feels like you're driving a car much more than you're driving a crossover. I mean, there's just so much good baked into these cars.
If you're in the market for a Lexus, an Infiniti, a Cadillac, an Audi, go to Genesis and drive their cars before you buy, if you can find one, because they're incredibly popular. But drive the car first and then make your decision. Yeah,
really. I said that a million times to people, is go drive a Genesis. And I did want to give the Jeep Wagoneer here a little bit of a mention too, because the Wagoneer is and the big Wagoneer, the Grand Wagoneer. I mean, Jeep has really put themselves head first into the big SUV market.
They have.
And the Wagoneer was the runner-up in that one, the 4x4. I loved it. And maybe the Wagoneer was the most off-road capable vehicle that we had driven.
Maybe. For the Northwest, I think the Grand Cherokee does better, because the Wagoneer is so big that it can't fit a lot of trails, and you end up brushing up against trees and getting scratches and stuff with the vehicle as big as the Wagoneer out there. It is very capable, but Jeep does not trail rate that vehicle.
That's right. I forgot that. All right. My favorite pickup trucks. I've been advocating for a small pickup truck for years, only because those damn diesel pickup trucks are so loud when, oh my God, and the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz is, I mean, it's all you want it to be, really. I mean, you talk about a perfect Northwest car. To me, this is the perfect Northwest car.
It does well, and it's a second-year winner in this category, and it's beat the big guys. Last year, it beat the Ram TRX. This year, it beat the Ford Raptor. Yeah, well, for a Northwest pickup, it works well. On a personal note, I still can't call it a pickup truck. I call it a pickup. I can't call it a truck, because it's very comfortable. It's very car-like. It is essentially a Hyundai Tucson with a bed, which then there's nothing wrong with that.
Excuse me. Subaru, did the Brat years ago and did the Baja later on. I mean, I would love to see General Motors reincarnate a small pickup truck like a
Chevy Love.
Like a Chevy Love, yeah. A small city-size pickup truck, because people in the cities buy pickup trucks too.
I think that a lot of manufacturers are probably looking at Ford right now, looking at the Maverick and saying, wow, that's doing well. We need to jump into that segment.
Right. And I love the Maverick too. I love the fact that they give you a key with it, and you put the key in, and that's how you start it, like old school. And that's how they kept some of the costs on the car down. Because
they've done a fantastic job of coming up with a really stylish, really functional interior for a base price of around 20 grand, which is amazing.
Right. And it's going to be, I think it is huge for Ford now, will be even bigger when, as these cars, as we get back to some sense of normalcy in the car business. As you know, as we all know, the car business is topsy-turvy right now. the popular models, you can't get them. If you go to a dealer to try to get them, they're looking for thousands over sticker price. It's
And
just
that popularity is one of the reasons why we didn't have all of these cars in our event. Is there just wasn't a Maverick available to be in the event?
yeah, I'm surprised. I was actually surprised that there wasn't, but boy, yeah, because the Maverick probably would have beat the Santa Cruz in the respect of people like you that sit on the fence on whether the Santa Cruz is a truck or not, or are firmly ensconced in their belief.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Santa Cruz. I just can't call it a truck.
Yeah, I know. I call it a truck because it's just something that I would take to Home Depot. I would buy it. I would take it to Home Depot. I would take it, load stuff, do whatever I needed to do with it. You could even sleep back there. I actually slid under the
call the El Camino a truck.
Yes, it is. It was sold because there's a GMC model and it was sold by truck. Many people used to use the El Camino as a small truck.
Okay.
We even had a back in my misspent youth, we had a El Camino, had two of them, El Camino tow trucks, where we put a 3-pole Manley crane in the back, beefed up the rear springs, and sent it out to pick up wrecks. And if you had
optimistic.
And if you had to pull a car out of a garage, in New York, they have those low garages under the buildings. The El Camino went right in, backed it up, took it out. Now, you didn't want to tow too far with it.
Yeah.
Try to
throw it outside to the real pickup, or to the real truck.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of delivery places, a lot of ranches. Yeah, I would consider the El Camino a truck. I think it was actually sold. I think it actually was sold under the Chevy Trucks banner as opposed to the car banner. All right, let's get back to the extreme capability. I got to tell you something. This thing won. I wasn't all that impressed with it, to be honest with you.
I love the Raptor. I truly love the Raptor.
I like what it represents, and I like that they build it. Listen, I was a guy that coveted a SS 454, C10 for years, and so I know where they're going. I know what they want to do. I know, but this particular Raptor just didn't. I don't know. It didn't do a lot for me, and I don't know. Maybe, listen, we all like different stuff. That's why it's a beautiful world, right?
Well, with the last generation Raptor, the day I got it delivered as a press car, had it in the driveway, and my wife got home from work, looked at the truck and says, "Let's skip the next minivan and get one of these." I love my wife. We ended up getting another minivan, but the hope was there. But this new Raptor with the twin turbo V6, very capable, very fast, very loud, absolutely obnoxious, makes no sense, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I see that. And I guess maybe sometimes I look at these. It's like the Jeep last year with the Hemi. I mean, it's
You mean the Ram TRX?
The Ram TRX. Then we had the Jeep.
Oh, the Wrangler 392.
392. Yeah, I mean, makes absolutely no sense whatever.
No, it doesn't. But it sounds.
But it is sure fun to pull up at the country club with that one, or the TRX. I mean, trucks that made no sense, but yet, and
yet they're selling every one they can make.
Oh yeah, well, America's. I mean, let's face it. We want to go fast. People, if you can put somebody in a car with 600 horsepower, and they got the money to buy it.
We want everybody to know we can go fast, not necessarily go fast.
And that's why you see cars going over cliffs in places, because they don't sell them with instructional, how to drive a fast car.
Some do now, but not enough.
Yeah, not enough. I mean, I'm one of those people that think it should be a requirement. If you have a car over a certain amount of horsepower to register it, you have to take, some kind of safety class, because it really does become an uncontrollable force. I mean, I consider myself to be an excellent driver, yet when I get in one of those cars and you gun it, on some back road, there's a inertia force that goes on with that car that is different, completely different from the Hyundai.
A great example of that is the new Hummer EV, which has more than 1,000 horsepower, weighs 9,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Putting an inexperienced driver behind the wheel of a Hummer is scary.
Yeah, and again, just, you get some guys got a lot of money, woman's got a lot of money. Their kid comes along and says, "Hey, here you go, kid. Here's a nice $150,000 Hummer for you for your graduation." Kid gets in and he got his driver's license like a year ago, and hits the gas and boom, well, hits the accelerator and accelerates like a nuclear rocket. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder about it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, the electrified utility vehicle was the Jeep Grand Cherokee. We talked about that one. Great truck, great off-road vehicle, and great the fact that you can operate it on electric. And the Northwest Outdoor Activity Vehicle of the Year. Ta-da! John?
Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe.
This is the one. And if you are if you're a Northwest person, if you wear flannel shirts with a T-shirt under it, and the flannel shirt is open, and you have nonstop Nirvana and Soundgarden blasting through your speakers, this is the car you want, right?
Yeah, trade in your Outback and get one of these.
It's going to be huge for Jeep if you can get one. Again, these electric cars, everybody complains about them, but yet everybody's trying to buy one.
Yep, the 4xe comes with a pretty big price premium, but it qualifies for a $7,500 tax rebate because it is a plug-in vehicle.
Yeah, and it means, you know what? I thought, again, we talked about this. It was, I thought it was a spectacular vehicle.
Yeah, it does everything it needs to do, and it does it well and with no drama. It's what people want.
Yeah, and again, I go back to for the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and listen, in days gone by, I can't imagine like guys like Tom Cahill or Robert Comerford, who were two great car reviewers and car experts, talking this much about the radio in the car. But in our age, where everything is controlled by a screen in the center of your dashboard, the Uconnect system becomes a key piece of this car, because if you can't operate it, you really start to lose a lot of what you paid for in the car.
Yeah, and there are some fantastic infotainment systems out there, like Uconnect, and still some really bad ones that are distracting, hard to use, just ridiculous. I know there's one vehicle out there. There's one vehicle out there where you cannot dim the dash without going into the menus on the infotainment system.
Yeah,
that's just silly.
Yeah, it's there's controlling is from that thing is good, but you still need to have, I think, at least for the foreseeable future, redundant controls that control the safety systems of the car, the heat, the lights, everything like that.
You need those tactile systems where you can reach down and feel the button and know you're hitting the right button. With a screen, you have to look at the screen to know you're hitting the right button.
Yeah, by the way, is it the Grand Cherokee that has the screen in front of the passenger, or is it the...
It is the available screen in front of the passenger.
Maybe the coolest thing I've seen in this year was the screen in front of the passenger that allows you to send one button to the driver to do a function. Like if you're in the nav system and you do so the driver doesn't have to sit there. And listen, we all say, oh yeah, we'll pull over and use it. Nobody pulls over to use them, except me, because I can't keep, but people definitely don't, and this screen, don't pull over it. And this screen that the passenger can operate, the driver cannot see, is fantastic.
Yep. And, the voice control systems have gotten so much better. Just spend some time in the new Toyota BZ4X, their new electric car, which has an Android-based, I'm sorry, not the BZ4X, the Volvo C40 electric, with the Android-based infotainment system. It's natural voice. You can talk to it like you and I are talking, and it understands what you're talking about and it figures out what you're trying to ask and gives you that information. It's stunning, and it does it really quickly.
One of my favorite TV shows, John, growing up, was My Mother the Car. And if you remember that TV series, it had the car used to have a light on the dashboard that would go on, and that's how the voice of Ann Southern would communicate with Jerry Van Dyke, who was the guy in the show. And I look at these systems now, and I can't help but think of My Mother the Car. Yep.
They're getting better all the time, and they're not just going to be on high-end cars. You're going to have these voice control systems and these easy-to-use infotainment systems on everything.
Yeah, I mean, the age of the dial radio is quickly going by us. And listen, I don't know if it's for the better or the worse, but we have kids that are driving today that grew up with the iPhone.
Ask yourself this question: what are the chances that a child born today will never drive a gasoline-powered vehicle?
Very good. Very good. Very good. I think gas-powered vehicles will be at car shows, and that's it.
They'll be in car shows and very limited, vocational things where you just need that range that a battery pack can't provide.
Yeah. It really is the debt. Well, hopefully it'll make for a better world for our kids. Hopefully this is what all the crap that we've left them with. Maybe this is the one good thing we'll leave them with.
A lot of our colleagues are in Texas this week driving the future. That is the Ford F-150 Lightning, which is probably the most important car Ford has made since the Model A.
Yeah, if this one works for not just for us here, but if this one works for the rancher in Nebraska that wakes up to 10 below, and if it works for the dairy farmer in Wisconsin that wakes up in 20 feet of snow once or twice a winter and still can get in his truck and go to work, it'll be huge. It'll be absolutely huge. It is, as you say, the game changer. John, it's good to see you. Good to have you on the show.
Great to see you. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I will talk to you very soon, I am sure. But John, of course, president of the NWAPA, the Northwest Automotive Press Association, and a good friend. John, take care of yourself.
Thank you, Vinny.
All right, John. All right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go right to our cartoon of the week. Let's hit it right now. It is in tribute to Mother's Day. Let's listen to the theme from My Mother the Car. To all the moms out there on this Mother's Day.
Everybody knows in the second life we all come back sooner or later. Is anything from a pussycat to a man-eating alligator. Well, you may think my story is more fiction than it's fact, but believe it or not, my mother dear decided she'd come back as a car. She's my very own guiding star. A 1928 Porter, that's my mother dear. She helps me through everything I do, and I'm so glad she's here. Well, everything my daddy never was, well, now she wants me to be. She's taken her place as the fifth member of my small family. And she'll blow her radiator when things ain't going right. And when whenever she gets too lonely, we just all gotta spend the night with my car. She's my very own guiding star. I mean a 1928 Porter, that's my mother dear. She helps me through everything I do, and I'm so glad she's here. My mother the car. Oh, my mother the car. My mother the car. My mother the car. I was wondering, do you think we could chip in and get an XK150?
You're muted.
There I go. Let me unmute myself. Hey, I'm getting back on the bicycle here and going. You know, sometimes you need a little bit of practice. Anyway, that is Sammy Davis Jr. Doing the theme song. Now, he didn't sing it in the show. It was done, I believe it was done by Jerry Van Dyke, but My Mother the Car show that aired on NBC from 65 and I think 66 as well. It was, it was a really bad show, but it was about cars. And a young, impressionable 10-year-old Vinnie at the time, really dug it, really loved it, really thought, wow, a show about cars. That's awesome. So we paid tribute on this Mother's Day to Ann Southern, who played the voice of My Mother the Car. All right, time now for your road test.
The Drivetime Radio Road Test. Every week, Vinnie puts another car through its paces and lets you know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Nothing ugly about this one. This week, we take a ride in the Honda Civic Sport hatchback. And, oh, man. I really got to hand it to Honda. They have taken this Civic, this 2022 Civic, and they have made it a car for everybody. There is a model in the Civic lineup that fits everybody. Now, unfortunately, you can't go in and you can't order the car exactly like you want it. But you can get it close. The different engine combinations, some of them go with different packages and so on and so forth. But there is a definite, a definite attraction with this car to many types of people. If you want to buy a good, solid, safe car for your kids to go back and forth to college, to commute, to go around town as a small family car, it fits the bill. If you want something that's fun to drive, fits a lot of stuff in, is a comfortable car, very comfortable, more comfortable than maybe anything else out there in its class. The Honda Civic does a great job. The design on the outside is gorgeous. And it is, the HBD package and some of the other things. It's the 11th generation Civic. The braking is spectacular. Lots of cars go. The model I drove had a 6-speed automatic, and it did the job. It really did. It was fun to drive. It was actually a blast to drive. And, small engine, 158 horsepower, but it moves the car along. It does, if you get the 180 horsepower turbo engine and a 6-speed manual like was in this car, it really moves it nicely. This was the touring model that I drove. And it gets around 36 miles per gallon. So you have comfort, you have sportiness, and you have a car that when you drive it up to the drive-in, the young kids are going to look at because it's one of the most popular cars to tune up out there, to make a hot rod out of. And the new Civic, the Civic hatchback, roomy in back, fits a lot of stuff. Rear seats are comfortable. Front seats are very comfortable. A great road car. I mean, you can't beat this thing for a road car. And it really is a spectacular vehicle. 36,000 and change as I drove it. 2,906 pounds is what it weighs. So, it gets great gas mileage. I think I got about 34 on the highway with it, in the high 20s in the city. And I drove the car hard. Drove it hard. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Drive Time this week. We thank you so much for rejoining us. We will catch up with you next week at the same time. Thanks to Nathan, the producer. Thanks to everybody who helps this show out. And I will see you next Saturday morning at 8 o'clock if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. Have a good week.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host.
And we're all clear.
And if you are out there at Facebook land, thank you so much for listening to the show. We appreciate it. And we will catch up with you next week. All right. Okay. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby, as Sammy would say.